That ting. There's the ting. The ting means that we are on the air.
Okay.
I'm going to tweet it out. It is tweeted. I think we are good to go.
Okay.
So, this has been a difficult 24 hours for people who care about things.
Yeah, it has. It has not been fun.
It is like there were like, okay, so yesterday there's the earthquake in Japan, the earthquake in Mexico, a suicide bombing in Beirut, and then of course the horrendous terrorist attacks in Paris.
Yeah, it was actually a tsunami in Japan.
Tsunami in Japan, yeah. Although that, for a tsunami, they seem to be calm about it very quickly.
Yeah,
like settled down and they didn't mind anymore after a very short while. But yeah, so there's that, and then there's ongoing stuff with like the stuff at the Mizzou, racism, and just so many things.
Yeah,
so many things. But as you and I talked about on Twitter privately last night, I think that it's important not to stop life when horrible things happen. Just try to keep on doing positive things, or as Neil Gaiman would say, make good art.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So I'm glad that you wanted to do this. If you didn't want to do this, I would have absolutely been fine with canceling and postponing. I'd understand. I don't want to push somebody into this, but I'm glad that we're going to do this.
Me too.
All right. So now, before we get too far into this, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to play my little theme song, and then I will actually introduce you to the people who are watching and or listening in the future, because I haven't done that yet, because I'm a horrible host. All right. Here we go. That's enough of that. All right. Thank you, anybody who is tuning in to my PaulCast. This is a live show that I try to do a couple times a month if I can with a co-host. And this weekend, I am joined by my friend. Who are you?
My name is Liz. My channel name is High-Waisted Pantaloons. I am a vlogger, a mom, and a creative, you guys will say.
That's fair.
Yeah. I do different arts, just not actual like painting type art. But yeah, writing, photography. I'm really heavy into the art assignment right now. I have a goal for myself to try and finish all the art assignments that have happened as of yet before the end of the year.
That's a lot. Are there like 20 or something?
There's a lot. I've done quite a few already. I kind of seem to do them in bulk. So it kind of, I've been able to like knock out like, we'll say 3 in like a week.
Wow.
Yeah. And it's just because of the way that my life works, I don't have a lot of time to do these things. So if I sit down and give myself like a goal, something like this, it reminds me to be creative and to do things and to take the time to create, because that's what life is. That's why we're here.
Yeah. And
put out good.
If anybody is watching or listening and doesn't know, The Art Assignment is a YouTube channel and a artistic series that is spearheaded by Sarah Urick Green, wife of John Green, but a significant person in her own right, who knows lots of stuff about museums and art. And it's a fantastic series. I myself have done 2 assignments, I think 2 assignments.
Okay.
Yeah, it's great. I was once a rabid fan of it, but sometimes it overwhelms me to see all the creativity when I myself am in a non-creative space. It makes me feel kind of like bad. So sometimes I don't tune in. But when I do tune in, I love it. I think it's great. We are already joined in the chat. Wow. By PaulTalks. Hi, Spoo. And TigerMond1.
Yeah, that would be my buddy.
Oh,
Hi.
Good. Do you know if TigerMond1 what pronouns they use?
She. Yes.
Hi, TigerMon1.
She, her, I suppose.
And TigerMon1 is also a fan of the art assignment, it looks like.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we've actually done quite a few together already, me and her. Which
That's
is
very
another
cool.
thing that I like, why I love the art assignment so much, is because a lot of times you have to do them with people. And that's like another thing, because there again, with the way that my life works, I don't have much time to be with other human beings that are not my children. So there again, it forces me to come out and to interact with people over the age of 5. So that's another thing that I really like about it too.
I mean, it's good to interact with people over the age of 5 at least once in a while, occasionally.
Yes, it is. I do try to make that a weekly goal, if not daily. Excluding my husband, of course. I interact with him quite a bit, but a
Oh, that's
lot of what
good.
I do is.
I mean, I didn't know.
Yeah. Oh no.
I didn't
No.
want to make any assumptions.
No. Yeah. We're pretty good friends.
Okay, good. That's. I hear that's important in a marriage.
Yes, but a lot of our interactions are a combined effort in taking care of the kids, not like, hey, how are you today, other human that I live with.
More like, hey, grab that kid.
Exactly. Exactly. Oh no, he's got something. Get that. Take that from him. Or it's your turn to change the diapers. That sort
Gotcha.
of.
Yes.
You know. Yeah.
Yes.
But.
Ew. We're also joined in the chat by Redhead Pat. Pat. Hi, Pat.
Hi, Pat.
Yay. Which gives me a nice little segue into saying that Pat is one of the 2 people who kind of like runs / manages / tries to herd the cats of NFI channel,
Yes.
which is one of my favorite collab channels,
Yes.
along with Dave J Says Words.
Yes.
And Dave is going to be my next co-host for a live show on November 29th. Hopefully, nothing disastrous will happen that week, but we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Well, who knows? Like, it's crazy like that.
If you're just tuning in, we already talked about the fact that like this recent past has been kind of awful.
Yeah.
And you know, we're trying to make some good art to counteract that. That's what we're doing.
Yeah.
You probably already have an explanation for this, like in one of your videos or on your channel somewhere. But what is up with high-waisted pantaloons? Where did that name come from?
Oh, it's a fun story. The actual story is really boring, actually, but the reasons behind it are what's interesting. The actual story is that I literally own a pair of high-waisted pants.
Bloomers.
Underpants, yeah. I still have my maternity underwear because it's perfectly reasonable and legitimate, and there's no reason for me to get rid of it. But
I'm sure it's very comfortable.
Pregnant anymore, it goes up pretty high. So that's like the boring and uninteresting reality of where my name came from. But the reason that I think that it's stuck is far more intricate. I do actually have a video where I kind of explained it, but it's pretty much just everything that the name encompasses is kind of like where I'm coming from in life. Like it's kind of, you get that, like that sense of like old timey, you know, older, like I am older, I'm 33, I'm not, you know, spring chicken anymore, and I'm good with that. But like realizing that I live in a world where, you know, I have to kind of catch up with a lot of stuff. Like I'm new to a lot of the social medias and stuff like that. So it's that like trying to catch on to where things are and trying to remain a part of the world, but realizing that I'm never really going to get there. And then it's silly, you know, pantaloons is silly, it's goofy, it's weird. And it's also just, it's a name that you don't easily forget. And I think that's kind of ultimately why I went with it.
That is certainly true.
It's not a name that you're easily, it's funny because it's been interesting having that like with my Twitter handle and stuff like that, which is actually H_W_pantaloons, because high-waisted pantaloons was just like way too long of a Twitter handle. So it's been like, that's like, doesn't exactly roll off the tongue. But my Tumblr is actually high-waisted pantaloons. I was able to get away with that, but it has been interesting having that moniker, I think, from the perspective of it doesn't just roll off the tongue, but at the same time it sticks and you notice it and you pay attention to it. And so yeah, a little bit of branding there, a little bit of that going into it, but
Branding is important here on the YouTube.
Yeah, so
Tiger Mond 1 says it's the perfect name.
Thank you. I think so too. Yeah, it is. It's weird. It's funny. It's goofy. It's awkward. It's a little uncomfortable. And life is, right? Life is a little.
I was going to ask, is that an observation on life, or is that a self-observation?
Well, yeah, both.
Okay. We're also joined in the chat by Jake Welsh.
Oh, hello,
Hi, Jake Welsh. Is Jake one of your subscribers, viewers?
I'm not aware to this. Yeah, I know who all my subs are.
I think Jake is new to all of us then. Hi, Jake. Well, thanks for tuning in.
Yeah.
Spoo mentioned that the week that Dave co-hosts, nothing disastrous could happen besides Dave co-hosting. Yeah, that is a joke that he himself has made. But I'm looking forward to talking with Dave. He's very different from me in background, so I'm not sure how our conversation is going to go, but I'm sure it's going to be interesting. Let's see here. Oh, nice. Tiger Mond is familiar with NFI. Good. Everybody should check out the NFI channel because I think it's like the biggest collab channel that I know of, considering all the different guest stars who go in. And the themes are good. The videos are good. It's fun to be on part of it.
Yeah, I think I have to agree with that as far as it's the biggest one that I'm aware of that anybody can kind of come into. I am a part of another collab channel, which is We Create EDU, which we're trying to get more people involved in, but that's it's a smaller group right now. It's something that came out of VidCon, as far as we basically try to help people kind of, learn the ropes of this whole YouTube world. So, but we're a little bit smaller right now. We're just starting to grow. I think NFI has been around for a little bit longer than We Create EDU.
So it's literally the three words, We Create EDU.
Yeah, it's primarily an education channel, but obviously, I'm technically not. I'm a part of the channel, but I'm not educational, if you will.
I don't know. I think tuning into your videos can be an education.
Well, thank you, and I appreciate you saying that, but I'm not trying to. It's not my intention to educate you in any one particular subject. And I think people have an idea of the We Create EDU channel that it is specifically that, but it's not, because I'm there. So I represent the idea that it's generally just trying to help people learn how to make YouTube videos and to kind of get hit the ground running on creating whatever they feel like is what they want to do in the YouTube space, because YouTube is magical for giving people a voice and giving people the opportunity to do whatever it is that they love.
Yeah, it definitely is.
Yeah, and we're there to help people. So
that's awesome. We Create EDU. We're also joined in the chat by Milo Stewart. Hi, Milo. I don't think I've seen you in one of my chats, one of my live shows before. Thanks for tuning in. And speaking to the creation of EDU content on YouTube, I was at the YouTube Creator Day DC yesterday.
Oh, yes.
Along with Asante, the artist, and Magic Cat Jenny. We thought we might get Leslie Datsis of One Time Stories to join us, but she was too busy with her day job.
Okay.
And likewise, Shira Stein. She could have joined us because her class got canceled, but unfortunately, she didn't register in time. So three of the 5 people that I know pretty well around DC were at the Creator Day. And I talked to some of the people who actually work for YouTube, like their user experience group and their UI group and a couple of other people. But one of them, I mentioned that I create videos where I talk about social justice issues, where I talk about intersectional feminism, etc. And they pointed out that although they oftentimes will talk about the education vertical as like a thing that's a bit more formal regarding academia, they also do consider a lot of the social issues vlogging that people do to be a type of informal or social education as well.
Yeah,
And apparently
I agree. I absolutely agree with that. As far as like, I'm not trying to educate people, but I also try to share my experience. And I think that there's a valid form of, and I don't think education is necessarily the right word, but teaching, we'll at least say. I think there's a little bit of teaching. It's not an intentional thing, but I think it comes out of that. As a lot of how we learn is by social interaction. So, like in my videos, I'm very much, I don't do a whole lot of research and I don't do a whole lot of, background work. Some videos I have. Some videos I do try to, at least get my facts straight. But a lot of what I do is just, this is me, this is mine. I'm sharing it with you. What do you take out of this? And like I said, I think there is a certain amount of teaching to that, but I don't necessarily think it's formal. It's definitely, my videos are very informal. And I intend to kind of keep them that way because I think that's part of sharing that experience. And it is interesting being a part of a group of people that have to take those things into consideration. Because like some of the people that I have to, like I'm in the We Create EDU space with, very much have to do tons of research, tons of fact checking, tons of, making sure that they look professional and that they have to sell themselves that way. Whereas I'm afforded the liberty of like, I don't have to do my hair, my makeup, my anything, because nobody expects that of me, because I'm just here to share with you my story. But I do find that interesting, the differences there. That if you had somebody trying to actually educate you and they were sitting on their sofa, maybe their hair wasn't brushed or whatever, would you necessarily take them as seriously?
I mean,
it's question. Yeah.
I mean, I've been to parties where exactly that sort of thing happens, and I'll talk to somebody about a recent topic that's in the news. Like we might talk about the racism issues that is entrenched in the faculty at Mizzou, and they might be able to tell me something about how that's widespread beyond that college. It happens at their own college or whatever, and then I would learn something from that conversation, even though it was not at all framed academically.
Yeah. It's interesting.
In the chat, I see that, Jake Welsh says, Paul, I'm one of your subscribers from England. Hi, Jake Welsh from England. I didn't know that you were one of my subscribers. So nice to meet you in the chats. That's lovely. Let's see here. And then Milo says, I'm just watching in between nano sprints, but I'm loving the convo. Milo's doing NaNoWriMo. I've done NaNoWriMo every year for the last 6 or 7 years, I think. Except for this one. I decided to take a break for the first year in a long while. I know it's rough, Milo. Hang in there. Keep going.
One of my subscribers that I'm aware of she's also doing NaNoWriMo, and she's doing really good so far. Danielle, I'm not sure if she's going to watch this or not. You should. But I've only known about it for 3 years, and it terrifies me. Like, I love to write, and I do enjoy. I am working extremely long term on a book right now, but the idea of writing a novel in a month is not where I am right now anyway in my life. There's no way.
I mean, some actual authors have chimed in on Twitter to say that 50,000 words is more like a novella maybe, but yeah, I mean, I've done it. I've won a couple of years. But since I've started vlogging, I have won 0 years.
Yeah.
I don't have the resources, the time, or the spoons to do both writing and vlogging, and yet I keep on trying to do both at the same time, and it just destroys me. Anytime I try to do it. Milo just said, NaNoWriMo is actually death.
I can imagine. I can only imagine.
Pat says, I'm also doing NaNoWriMo. It is my first time doing it. Well done, you, Pat.
Yes.
Just for trying. Go for it. Good on you. Even writing songs and poems. That's a lot of writing that you're doing, Pat. You might be trying to to do too much. Let's see. I think I missed a couple things in the chat here. Spoo said that Dave from NFI is a totally nice guy who you can share a hotel room with anytime. That sounds a little weird, Spoo. Sounds a little weird. There might be some teens watching this. This is a bad message to convey here. Tigermond says, and by sharing your life, others and you can learn valuable lessons. Absolutely. I agree. Oh, also, Tigermond also says, I'm a terrible procrastinator. I couldn't do it. I have to admit, when I've done NaNoWriMo before, I spend a remarkable amount of time cleaning my room.
I wonder why that is.
Yeah. It's remarkable how I go back into the same study habits that I had when I was in school when I'm trying to do NaNoWriMo.
And I'm the same way too. I didn't do my term paper until the night before it was due. So I think that's also part of it. Is I just am like, when there's some like thing that I have to do, I'm doing everything but that thing.
I'm also going to say to the people in the chat, not only am I glad that you are here, we're happy to answer any questions or talk about any topics if you have requests of us.
Yes,
feel free to do so.
Please ask questions. I love being asked questions.
Me
and
too.
Not, how do you spell car, mommy? Because my daughter's learning how to like write right now, and she wants me to spell everything for her. So
I mean, that's an easy one. It's CARMOMMY.
Well,
that's how you spell it.
But it's funny because she knows how to spell these things, but she insists on asking me. So,
oh, it's interesting.
Yeah.
Pat says, I write songs and poems when I encounter plot holes in my story. So it's like procrastinating by writing other things. You know, that's true, but legitimately, NaNoWriMo is really just about writing a lot in a month. You could probably just take the word counts from your songs and your poems and toss them into your NaNoWriMo.
In there.
Like, who's going to stop you? Who's going to say no to that?
Make that a part of your book.
Yeah, have your characters sing those songs or say those poems.
Yeah.
Why not? I actually hadn't realized before this show of ours, Liz. Is it all right if I call you Liz?
Please do.
I hadn't realized that you had just started this almost a year ago to the day, like a year ago and a couple weeks maybe.
Yeah, January 1st, 2015.
Wow.
Yeah.
And what got you into YouTube so recently?
Zay Frank.
Really?
Zay Frank.
Interesting.
Yeah.
He's not as prodigious of a YouTuber as he used to be.
No, he's not actually at all. But it's a funny story. I've been watching Vlog Brothers for, I'm really bad at time, but I want to say 3 years. And I've been passively watching them and, you know, some other YouTube channels. And one video that I watched, I actually went back and watched all of the Vlog Brothers. I don't know how, I know Tigermon's done this before, but how many people have actually like gone back and watched like all Brotherhood 2.0 and then all of the previous videos? So
I have.
Okay, so I'm not that weird. I'm still weird, right? But no, I went back and I watched all Brotherhood 2.0, all of their old videos, and kind of caught up on everything. And in one of, I believe it was Hank's videos, he suggested watching Zay Frank, and I then watched all of a show and the show with Zay Frank, and truly, it wasn't until I watched all of his videos, especially towards like the very end of, I'm not sure which one was. I think the show came after a show, but somebody correct me if I'm wrong on that. It wasn't until like watching almost the very end of his shows that I kind of started to feel like maybe this was a thing that I could do also. And I think that for me was huge. That was like hugely big, because I'm a very shy person. I'm a very quiet person. Naturally, it's in my nature to kind of sit back when everybody's like being loud, and you know, if I'm at a party, like I'm literally the person in the corner just quietly observing. So for me to want to actually put myself out on the internet was huge and scary and terrifying, but it was one of those huge, scary, terrifying things that I knew I had to do. You know, it was one of those things that this is something I have to do. So I kind of, a few months before, kind of built myself up and started to make a plan for actually going ahead and doing it. And then January 1st, 2015, I shot my first video, which even just looking back now at my first video is so terrible. Like I can see like how much I have gotten just better, even within, I've not even been doing this for a year, but yeah, and haven't really stopped. Did Veda, met a lot of really neat people through that.
In April or August?
April.
April, that's what I thought. Okay.
Yeah, Vita, not Veda, Vita. But I didn't do August because after VidCon, I was exhausted from that experience. Was very exhausting in a great way, and then also not like that like post VidCon depression.
Yes.
Definitely hit me. So I didn't do the August one, and I didn't feel bad about not doing that, but I did the April one. And I started out making one video a week, and then I believe somewhere in March, May, I decided to do 2 videos a week. So since May of this year, I've been making 2 videos. I do one on Monday, which is just sort of like a straight up look at the camera vlog video. And then my videos on Thursday, I try to do something a little bit more thought involved, a little bit more edited, and usually in my little studio basement. And yeah, and next year I actually have even more plans to do things. I want to start a podcast, hopefully, and I'm hopefully going to try to start another channel. That's going to be a parenting specific channel, but that's going to be later in the year, if not next year. So, but well, yeah, since I started, I've absolutely it's been one of the best experiences of my life. So, yeah.
Well, that's good to hear. That's very encouraging for any newbie YouTubers who are tuning in.
Yeah.
And I think this is a pretty good practice for podcasting.
Yeah. Thank you.
And and also the live hangout that I joined in where we did a storytelling round, also good practice for podcasting. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was fun. I have an idea for the podcast. I'm gonna kind of keep it, on lockdown until it's actually a thing. But yeah, I'm looking. Well, yeah, you got to keep them questioning a little bit, right? I'm looking forward to kind of branching out from this experience, but. Yeah, I would say that deciding to start getting involved, it has been truly, like I said, one of the best experiences of my life, and other than having children, of course. And I would not change a thing that has happened. I've met some wonderful people, some just beautiful experiences. VidCon was awesome and exhausting, like I said. And yeah, I'd have zero regrets in starting to do this, and it's been magical so far.
Well, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
For your parenting channel, do you know Brian, and I can't remember his wife's name, the parents of Presley from Act Out Games?
I couldn't say I know them. I know of them though, definitely.
Because I'd be very interested in hearing some of their takes on parenting. Also, do you know Meg Motherwort?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. So like,
Meg.
I know a few. Weirdly, I don't know if it's weirdly, but I've realized that I know a few parents on YouTube, and it's interesting because I don't.
Yeah.
I don't interact with too many parents in my day-to-day life, even though. Like, I know people at my age are parents. Lots of people my age and even younger are parents. I just don't tend to interact with them very much, probably because they're parenting. Probably because they're busy parents.
Yes, I can guarantee you that, because even as a parent, I don't really interact with too many other parents except when I'm picking my kids up at daycare. That sort of thing. Yeah, it's not you don't get out very much.
I believe you. I believe you. In the chat, Pat asked, are you guys planning on making any P4A videos?
Not yet, but I would like to.
I have for the past couple of years. The first year, rather 2 years ago, was my first time like tuning in to P4A, and I was working during those days, theoretically, but I was paying a lot of attention to the P4A live show, 24-hour thing. And then last year, I thought I was going to have time to make a P4A video, but I didn't. And I'm hoping to do that sometime this month, to do a P4A video myself. The cause that I want to do a video about is HIPS, which is an organization here in Washington, D.C. that helps protect sex workers and provide them with advocacy and medical assistance, and I think maybe legal assistance. I'm not sure about that part, but I think it's a good cause. And far too often, sex workers are just overlooked and treated badly. So I want to do a video for that. And then like the other thing that I'd like to do a video for is for one of the various animal assistance organizations in the area, whether that's Washington Humane Society or the Society for one of the local SPCAs. I'd like to do a video for them as well. Like, these are causes that are important to me.
Yeah.
Maybe
I have actually been kind of thinking about doing a P4A video. I would have to research, but of course my cause is going to be something to do with kids, because I want to be the mom of just all of the children in the world. I do. Like, I can't handle thinking about the fact that there are kids in the world without parents that just adore them, because no child ever should have to experience anything less than 100% love and support from their parents. Yeah. So it would be something to that effect. I've actually been thinking about it, and I think I might do a little bit of research and try to do that, but I am not going to sign my name off on that quite yet.
I mean, nobody's required to do P4A, even if they say that they're going to. Like, I failed to do one last year, and I don't feel bad about it necessarily. I just wish that I had. You know, we can all contribute by tuning in and sharing videos and clicking on them, etc.
That I will sign my name on. That I will definitely be doing.
Yeah, I think it's on a weekend this year, so it's easier. So and I'm pretty darn sure that lots of the things that are happening right now that are horrible in the world will get P4A videos. That might be a P4A video for the Paris attack victims. There may be P4A videos to assist tsunami victims and other disaster victims in Japan. Geez, so much stuff. I'm going to go back to the chat again here and see that, Milo Stewart says he won the first year by using the character's first, middle, and last name every time I mentioned her. So yeah, don't use those poems in your NaNoWriMo word count. Ha, pretty good. And then Pat says, I'm not sure if a poem about being terrible at roller skating fits into a sci-fi story. As Spoo replied, roller skates are timeless. They fit in any story. Let's see here. Oh, and then Pat chimed in to say that Veda is death. It is very difficult to vlog every day of any month. I've done it several times, and every time I get to the end and I can't understand how I survived it. And then when I'm not doing vlog every day in a month, I don't understand how it's possible. Like, I've done it. I know that I have.
And then there are people that just do that. Yeah. Yeah. I've actually created something that I really enjoy. I call it Vedthwa, I think. It's vlog every day this week. So it's like one of those things that every once in a while, if I just feel like it, I'll vlog for a week. And then I'm done. And it's a much easier commitment to make, but it also does a similar thing that the Veda does. Because I feel like the idea of the Veda is to Veda, I forget which one we're supposed to say, the one that's not the religion. But anyway, to me, I feel like the whole point of it is to just do the thing, just to get it out there. You make your video. It doesn't have to be good. It doesn't have to be, polished or whatever. You just create. It's creating for the sake of creating. So what I do in my vlog every day this week video, which is super fun, it's a similar thing. I just make a video, but it's a much shorter time frame, so it's easier to commit to. And it still kind of does that same thing where it reminds me of, because sometimes I will get really bogged down in being too, specifically polished with my video, or worrying too much about what exactly I'm going to say and exactly how I'm going to say it and how exactly people react to it, because those are things we have zero control over. So just get it out there, and yeah.
I mean, Vlog Every Day this week is very similar to what Hank and John are doing right now with Pizzamas.
Yeah.
They're doing Pizzamas. And you're right. That's, the point of it is to create. I view it as a really good, like, back to the gym exercise, except what you're exercising is your video making skills. You just,
exactly.
They don't have to necessarily be like a final product, like you're competing in a race. You're really just exercising for the point of building up those muscles to get better in shape for this activity that we do, which is making videos on YouTube.
Exactly. And I also like it because I sometimes get so sick of having to edit videos. Sometimes it's just like, I don't want to have to go through and edit this, so it's nice to just...
I can't let go of that control. I edit my Vedas. I edit my Veda videos. Not a lot.
Some of them I did, but sometimes it's nice, like, to do just one takes and just, that's it. It's done. It's up. It's out in the world. And sometimes I don't even watch the video. I shoot the video, it comes out, and it goes to the world.
Wow. That is... I should make myself do that to experience the practice of losing control, of like not having to be involved in every part of my production. But
it is super liberating. I will say it is super liberating to just
we'll see if I can do that.
And there you go. Everybody enjoy. I mean, to be fair, I have a much smaller viewer count. So, and I know that most of my viewers are pretty committed to, being a part of my experience. So I think I have that benefit, but at the same time, it's like, I don't even care if 1 million people watch this video because it's just me and here I am. And yeah, I don't know. I think being a parent kind of brought that out of me of just whatever. I'm here. I'm a human being. So yeah.
I'm sure that parenthood definitely reminds you every day of your being a human being.
Yes.
Hard to avoid that. We are joined in the chat by Hyackley, H-Y-Ackley.
Yes. Hi, Hannah.
Hi, Hannah.
Yes.
Thank you for joining us. They say the storytelling live stream was rather awesome and that we should do it because Hannah wants to see our P4A videos, including the peeps in the comments.
Yes.
Tiger Mon says, talking about podcasts, do you guys listen to Dear Hank and John?
Yes.
I listen
on the regular.
I listened to a few. I listened to the one with Emma Blackery. I listened to the one with oh darn, I can't remember who the other guest star was. I basically listened.
There was more than one. There's like it was like a week's worth. I want to say 2 weeks worth almost.
Yeah, and I've also listened to some with actually Hank and actually John, but I tuned in specifically for the guest stars, and then I'll just, and rather than subscribing to it or anything, I'll just look to see if anybody shares a tweet about it on Twitter, and then if so, I'll tune in at that point.
I have very much religiously listened to every single one, and I think that every single one is better than the one before it.
I made a conscious decision this year to try very hard to avoid things that are 100% white men. Anything, doesn't matter what it is. I am avoiding it if at all possible.
That's totally fair.
And I am a Vlog Brothers subscriber. They are a big part of why I got into vlogging, but they're 100% white men.
No, they very much are. They very much are.
But that's why when the guest hosts came in.
It was Emma.
Oh, Maureen Johnson, I think was the other one.
Maureen Johnson was one.
Yeah, who I love. I adore her.
And now I'm forgetting because I've just been listening to them for so long. But they had quite a few. It was an interesting time when John was away doing the Paper Town stuff.
The Paper Towns tour, yeah, that's right.
Which, full disclosure, I still haven't seen the movie.
I haven't seen it. I haven't read a single John Green book, and I haven't watched a single John Green movie.
Good.
Yeah,
I don't feel so bad anymore.
Yeah, I mean, it's regardless. I know that they are just books, and books can be read by anybody. That's reading is universal. The stories are universal, but I'm not a YA reader. I'm a sci-fi fantasy reader. If John Green writes a science fiction or fantasy novel, I will read it immediately. I think Hank Green. Yeah, I was gonna say when Hank's book is out, I will read that book.
Yeah, it's pretty good actually.
Wait, how do you know?
Yeah. He has a Patreon that he set up for the book to have just very, very few people read it in advance to kind of have that little bit of feedback. And I happened to be there when that tweet was sent out. So
very nice.
Yeah, I'm not going to say a single thing about it except it is pretty interesting. And
very cool. I'm glad to hear it. In the chat, I see that Redhead Pat says, P4A is so great. I have made so many friends because of it. And then Pat couldn't help herself and exclaimed, all the children. I think that's when you were talking about wanting to be a mom to all the children.
Yes, all of this, yeah. every child should have love in their life. There's okay, nope, not going to go down that road right now.
It's a good road. Yes. It's a fine road. But I'm sure it's a road that you could make several videos about, not just one live show.
Yeah.
We're also joined in the chat by Barefoot Vlogs. Hello, Barefoot Vlogs.
Hannah, that's...
Wait, is that Hannah's other login?
Yeah, that's okay. But you know what? Hey, it's cool.
I didn't know that, so now I know. Yeah. Let's see here. And Milo says it's actually pretty brave to just post videos. I mean, I've done it. I've done unedited one-take videos and uploaded them, but it's rare that I do that. I don't like losing control. I'm a big control freak. Well, I'm not sure that's the medical term. So I'm very concerned about retaining control about the stuff that I create.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you know what? I see as being brave is pushing another human out of your own body. So yeah, putting a video up on the internet, I don't know. Not saying that it's not, but yeah, you learn a lot of perspective in those moments, in the 9 months leading up to, and then the 36 hours during, and years and years after. So
I mean, look, if we're going to compete in any way, you're always going to win.
I'm not trying to. I'm not trying to. I'm just saying it gives you lots of.
How often have you done it?
Twice.
So you've got me beat twice. That'll be. It's highly unlikely that I will ever push a human being out of my body unless I get into some sort of very, very strange vehicular accident or something, and then I have to do. Otherwise, it doesn't seem likely that's going to happen in my life.
Fair enough.
So you win, just forever. You win.
But I will say that it does realize you realize how little control you have over anything. Yeah. So.
I mean, it's a good lesson to learn. I mean, really, the fact that people with uteruses can have babies and go through that experience of learning so much about themselves, about life in general, about bringing life into this world. Yep. I mean, those are lessons that I'm just never going to have. I'm never going to learn. I can kind of learn a little bit vicariously. I can read the words of people who have experienced that, but that's it's a hell of a lesson to go through.
It is, and I'd go through it again. I mean, not anymore. I'm done having kids. But
sure.
If I could do it,
I would go through it again, but I won't.
Well, if I could do the 2 that I did again, I would do it.
I see.
Second life kind of thing. But anyway,
gotcha. Yeah. Let's see here. Tigermond also listens to every Hank and Tigermond also listens to every Dear Hank and John podcast.
Yeah.
Pat says, Milo says, if I'm tired of editing, I can be okay with not color correcting, but I have to edit. I don't even
color correct.
I rarely color correct.
Yeah. I don't even bother with that.
I mean, to be fair,
I only edit out my like ums and like long pauses because when I'm speaking myself, I will like literally I will do just so nobody wants to watch that.
I edit that out as well, but I also edit out my misspeakings. Sometimes just because I dislike the break in the flow of my presentation, but also sometimes because I will literally say things that convey a different message that I want to convey.
Yes.
And I cannot stand that idea that I'm conveying a thing that I'm presenting as a truth, whether it's my opinion or a factual truth in the outside world. I'm presenting a thing as a truth, and I'm presenting it wrong. That drives me batty. Yes. I cannot stand that.
That is not what I meant.
The things that are not what I meant are the things that I really edit out.
Yeah.
I can stand my ums, I can stand my likes and my pauses, but it's when I'm just not saying what I mean to say. Ooh, that gets me.
Well, I think when I first started vlogging, I ummed and liked like you wouldn't believe. Like when I first, because there again, being kind of the shy, quiet person, I don't articulate very well. Like I noticed I had a huge problem getting like my brain thoughts to come out like my mouth exactly the way that I planned them. Like that was like literally a connection that I had a problem with, because even though I'm fairly articulate, getting like my brain is like way cooler than like my mouth. So getting those two to kind of like match up was a real problem for me in the beginning. But I think there again, this is another reason that I'm really glad that I started doing this, is I've learned how to speak good than I used to. So yeah, I don't really know where I was going with that, except to just say that, because I edit out a lot of my ums and likes in the beginning, but I do fewer of those now since I've been doing this pretty much on the regular. So yeah. I have a question for you though, Paul.
Yes.
I pretty much, like I've said, I know all of my subscribers pretty well, and I would say that I have at least a decent, if not really good connection with them based on how they choose to be involved with me. I'm curious from the perspective of somebody who now has at least, if not over 2,000 subscribers. Do you feel like you've lost a little bit of connection with your subscribers, or do you still feel that same, the subscribers that I want to be connected to, I am connected to, and those that kind of just passively view my videos, I'm good with that? Like, do you feel that having that many subscribers has lost something for you, or like how do you feel about that?
Well, I'm not just a creator. I'm also a subscriber myself to lots of other channels, and I know that I subscribe to channels that are, have a few hundred or fewer subscribers. I subscribe to channels who have tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of subscribers, and I watch a couple of channels here and there that are in the millions. And when I want to voice an opinion, when I want to interact with the creator, I'll put in a comment or I will tweet at them. And it's rare that I don't get a response. Now, it's strange to me that somebody could have 100,000 subscribers, for example, and they would respond to me. But I think that Cheska Lee has, if not 100,000, then somewhere in that vicinity, and yet she does respond to me. Megan Tonjes, again, probably in that vicinity, if not much more, and she does respond to me on Twitter. Not so much in the comments, but on Twitter. And what that tells me is that the vast majority of viewers and subscribers of YouTube videos don't interact in a way that is meaningful. They might gush, they might like put in like, "Oh, love this video," and then that's it, video. Or they might like talk to other commenters, or they might talk about how big of a fan they are of whoever they're watching. But they don't try to interact with the creator in a meaningful, having a conversation kind of way, for the sake of the meat of the conversation, not for the sake of like meeting them to like connect, but like just to like, I have an idea that is important and I want to convey to you, and I'd like to have some sort of interaction. A lot of people I don't think do that. So for me, when I see a commenter who tries to connect with me, I try to connect with them back. because I see that they are trying to have some sort of meaningful conversation with me. But nowhere close to 2,000 people comment on my videos.
Yeah.
If I'm lucky, I will get 100 views on a video. That's starting to become my average. So maybe I'll say, if I'm lucky, I'll get 200 views on a video. That would be a fantastic viewing of one of my videos. Of those people who have viewed my videos, I'll get maybe 20 comments, and I'll respond to every single one of them. Back when I had 1,000 subscribers, I would get maybe 60 to 70 views on a video, and I would get about 20 comments on a video.
Yeah.
And I'd respond to every one of them. When I had fewer than 500 subscribers, I would get maybe 25 views on my video and 20 comments on a video. And I would respond to every one of them. I'm not sure why, but so far I have not gotten to a point where on an average video, now there are some videos that are exceptions, but on an average video, I break apart from that 20 commenter statistic, 20 comment statistic. When that happens, I will grow concerned that I don't know who my subscribers are anymore. And I'm already starting to get concerned about it. That's why I've begun a new series that is my Let's Talk About You series. So like next weekend, I'm not doing a live show, but I am planning on posting another Let's Talk About You video where I will shout out some of my subscribers that I can see from my creators studios viewpoint. And I'll say, these are people who subscribe to me. I know that they exist. If they would like to converse with me, that would be great. And then I will invite everybody else who watches me to also converse. I mean, you're familiar with this. You joined in on the first one. I'm hoping that by doing that, I will be able to retain some sort of connectivity with my subscribers, with my viewers. If right now, 1% of my viewing subscribers are commenting. If that happens at 10,000, then I'll have 100 comments that I have to deal with. Can I deal with that? I think I can. I think that I can, but I don't know for a fact. I fear that beyond that, I could lose touch with my subscribers. I could lose touch with an idea of who is in this part of the YouTube community, the part that is, branded PaulTalks. And I'm not really sure what is a good way around that. I think that maybe making use of multiple platforms. I also post things on Tumblr. I tweet a heck of a lot. I tweet so darn much. I'm hoping by being on all these different platforms, I can give different avenues for people to interact with me, and that they will do so, and that will be great. I know that one of my subscribers, Kat Aaliyah, she actually ran into me at VidCon this year and conversed with me, and I was so frazzled with all the things that were happening at VidCon. I barely I remember her face and like nothing of the conversation. Okay. I can't remember what the heck we talked about at all. But she has started commenting in my videos. If she had never commented on my videos, then our brief interaction at VidCon, it's probably something that I would have lost in my memory, and I would not know that she exists, basically. But because she has begun commenting in my videos, and because I do pay attention to all my commenters, I'm able to engage with her, and I know who she is, and I'm looking forward to seeing her at next VidCon, and hopefully I will not be so flipping out, and we'll be able to actually have a conversation that I recall. And hopefully that's something that I can just maintain. I don't know how far I can. The numbers are against me as I keep on climbing in subscriber count. But we'll see. We'll see what I can do. Yeah. That's my long answer.
No, yeah, I think that is a valid point though, because I've kind of just, I'm nowhere near 2,000, and I don't know that I ever will be, and I don't necessarily in a very good way care. But it's funny because people that I've spoken to about, having a huge subscriber account, they're like, well, yeah, but if your community gets too big and then you won't have time for everybody. That is a truly valid concern for me, because for me, it really is about the connection with not every single person, because I know that I have more subscribers than commenters, a similar situation, but at the same time, it is maintaining those connections with people, because that's what this is. That's what this is for. This is what this is about. It is not just me talking to a camera. I mean, that is a huge part of it for me, because there's a lot of stuff that I have to say, but a huge portion of that is that there's actually somebody on the other end listening. So it's been a concern for, if I were ever to get to that point, do you lose touch with your viewers. But I think you have a good point, and I'm going to kind of totally nerd out here and say that I'll look to like if looking like you move, but no further will I endart mine eye, then your consent gives strength to make it fly, which is Juliet Capulet from Romeo and Shakespeare, which is basically just saying that you're involved in something as much as the other people are also involved in that thing. So the people that comment on your videos are involved in you, and you're involved with them, versus the people that just passively watch your videos, you're not involved with them as much. And I think that's an interesting point is, yeah, you may only still, like let's say you do have, 10,000 subscribers, but you still only have 20 comments. That's totally manageable. That's totally, doable. It's just, when you look at it from like the perspective of like the Vlogbrothers, where, they have 2,000 subscribers or 2 million subscribers. I'm really bad with numbers, and millions and millions of comments or whatever. And they can't engage with every single one.
They don't have millions of comments. They have thousands of comments.
I'm bad with numbers.
But I mean, I'm not bringing that up.
But
I'm not bringing that up to like make fun of your numbers. I'm bringing that up to point out what the disparity is. If they have 2 million subscribers, 1,000 comments.
Let's say that they've like 100,000 views to
about 100,000 views. Yeah. When I was researching YouTube Red, I looked at a bunch of big YouTubers' channels to see what their numbers were, just to check them out. And the people who have, once you get past about 10,000 subscribers, you start seeing about 10% of your subscriber base are your views. So if you've got 100,000 subscribers, you'll get about 10,000 views. There's a huge swing. But like that'll usually be what happens when you initially post your video. If you had 1 million subscribers, you get about 100,000 views when you initially post your video. But the comments are different, are not predictable at all. It depends entirely on the type of user. Like the number of comments that Rhett and Link get are not proportional to the number of comments that Vlogbrothers get, are not proportional to the number of comments that Megan Tonjas get. They get completely different proportions, and it's because of the way that they interact with their own subscribers. Okay. I can't remember the numbers off the top of my head, but they were very disparate. And so, the fact that the Vlogbrothers will see about 1,000, will see things in the thousands, like maybe up to 4,000, maybe as few as 900, but they'll see in the thousands of comments on a video when they initially post it, even though they've got 2 million subscribers. That tells me that a lot of things prevent people who are viewing these big channels from engaging with their creators. Maybe it's a feedback loop. Maybe it's like, well, they didn't respond to me the one time I commented, so I'm not going to bother. Maybe it's just acknowledgement of the big numbers. Maybe it's feeling that there's a wall between a celebrity, quote unquote, celebrity creator and a regular viewer that's not there between a non-celebrity creator and a viewer. I'm not really sure what the reasoning is. And of course, there are so many people. There are actual individuals who make up these subscriber numbers and make up the number of comments. So it's hard to just come up with some sort of like broad swath answer to why this is happening. So,
and I'm sure that each person has their own reason.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's interesting that there are such differences. And what I'm hoping is that, the people who comment on my videos today are not all the people who commented on my videos when I had 500 subscribers. And I miss the people who've commented on my videos when I had 500 subscribers. I miss them. I remember their names. But I don't want to I don't want to call them out or make them feel bad about it. I just miss them.
Yeah. I mean, they're your friends in a way. I mean, like I definitely have some subscribers that I would consider a good friend, and we may not have ever actually met in meat space, as Mike Regnetta calls it, which I love and I want to just use all the time, but it doesn't change anything. And so I understand that from that perspective of it's like when you lose a good friend.
It's a little bit like that, but something that I've realized this year is that although I do value my internet friends, and I consider them to be valid friends, I don't think that they are the same as non-internet friends. I think that they're both valid types of friends, but they're not the same as.
No, I would agree with that.
And I experience the difference when I meet somebody in person. When I meet somebody in person, that's how I can find out if they are both a offline friend and an online friend, or if they're only an online friend. And that's something I can find out pretty quickly. So yes, and you're right. So those people who were commenting on my videos back when I had 500 and fewer subscribers were definitely my online friends. I feel like a sense of loss when I think about how they don't comment on things on my videos now. I know that for some of them, they've just literally gotten too busy. Like they would comment on my video, but like my friend Bridget, Mouse and Sneakers, she used to come to all my videos and comment on every single one of them, and she probably still would if she weren't A, busy with school, B, busy traveling the world. She's very busy. She every now and then, like once every month and a half or every 2 months, I'll see that all of a sudden she'll like comment on 7 of my videos because she's finally had a chance to catch up, and that's great. I love that. It's just wonderful. But you know, on the in between times, I miss those conversations that we used to have in my comments. So I'm hoping that now the people who are commenting now, as I'm much more aggressively, I'm not just saying like a bland "thank you for subscribing, thank you for watching." I'm literally going into the comments and saying, "I want you to stay here. I want you to keep talking with me. This is a space where I want you to feel welcome and like we can actually get to know each other." So that even if like my videos this week are boring to you and you have no interest, you stay aware of the fact that I want to engage with you. That's what I want to convey to my tiny portion of this community.
And speaking of which, do we have update on the chat?
So much stuff is happening in the chat that we've been talking right over. We lost Pat. Pat had to go and do homework. So if you tune in again later, Pat, bye, Pat. Let's see here. Milo Stewart says, "I got schooled, but I don't remember what happened that schooled you, Milo." Oops, sorry about that. I do remember that the ums and the pauses and whatnot that we were talking about that we edited out. I think that's what catalyzed Tiger Mind into saying, "That's why I'm afraid of conversations in real life." And then Milo Stewart agreed, and Barefoot Vlogs agreed.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Barefoot Vlog said, "To make a video that is not an actual vlog, but a sitting down and talking video, I have to write my thoughts down and base everything off of that. Otherwise, it will be wrong." I understand. I don't script my videos, but I definitely think about exactly how I want to say stuff a lot before I press the record button.
I do both. I sometimes will completely. I have a few videos that are 100% scripted. I have a few videos that are kind of at least outlined, and then I do have several videos that I just have words out of my mouth from my head. So, yeah.
I mean, all of our vlogs are words out of our mouth from our heads.
Well, yeah, but there's no in between.
I see. There's no planning it out in advance is what you're talking about.
Yes.
Okay. Tigermon says, "The bigger the community is, the less the individual feels important in it, and therefore people are less likely to comment, I think." So that's definitely one take. I definitely know that some people, that is their reason for not commenting on what feels like a big space full of lots of people. I get that. I'm just not. I don't know how many of the I don't know how many of the non-commenters that is the reasoning for. That's a weird sentence, but I think it was right. Yes. Spoo says, "You tweet all the tweets," which is a comment at me and is accurate. I tweet all the tweets. Barefoot Vlog says, "Paul's right about the fact that it is harder to interact with comments that aren't meaningful." Yep. I don't know what to say if it's just a no substance comment. Yeah,
I do. I have every once in a while I get one of those where I'm not 100% certain how to respond.
I mean, that's what the +1 or the thumbs up button or the like.
Thanks. I appreciate you commenting.
Sometimes I do that. Sometimes I'll say thank you for commenting. It's one that I don't know if you can tell, but sometimes I can tell that the commenter on my video wanted to say something engaging, but still ended up just having a content-less comment that is left there. And that's, that's fine. I don't always know exactly how to respond to a video myself, but I do want to let the creator know that I was engaged in the video and I want to connect with them and give them support. And so sometimes I'll make a comment like that myself. A +1 or a like response on that comment is fine when I do it. So I'm hoping that they are fine with it when I do that back to them.
But you don't get notifications on those? I feel like the Google Plus system has kind of failed in that regard, because there's a lot of times that I don't get like that somebody will +1.
Yeah, well, I mean, Google Plus is officially no longer required to comment on YouTube, and they are kind of slowly sunsetting the connection
and it's because of that. Yeah, it's because of that I feel like I don't get as many notifications as I once did.
Yeah, I honestly, frankly, I wish Google hadn't disconnected Google Plus. I wish they just made it like a better system, because at this point it was actually providing useful information to me, and then they killed it after. I mean, then they stopped it after. I had stopped complaining a long time ago. I was actually making use of it, and then they stopped it. Come on, guys. Come on, people.
Yeah, and you miss out on a lot because of it.
Little conversation between Tagamon and Barefoot Vlogs. Spoo says 10% views is pretty common across the board. Good to know that I wasn't just like seeing that as anomalies. Well, I wasn't making it up. I'm glad to say that. I'm glad it wasn't just an anomaly off of the channels that I chose, which is possible because I don't know all the popular channels. Like when I went to playlist, I recognized like 1% of the YouTube content creators, if that. When I went to VidCon, I knew maybe like 5 to 10% of the creators. I don't know most of YouTube, and I'm fine with that because I'm sure they make stuff that is just not interesting to me. But it's always a little bit of a slap in the face to realize how little of this platform that I see on a regular basis.
So I just have this kind of open question that can go to everybody. But here's the thing that like I really don't understand in the world of YouTube. Like, Vlogbrothers have over 2 million subscribers, right? You have 2,000 subscribers. I think I'm almost up to 70 subscribers. Like, what are those other people doing? Like, they get, you say you average about 200 or 100 views. Like, what are those other 2,000 people doing? Like, I guess I don't understand why you would be subscribed to a channel and not watch that content. Like, what is missing here? This is truly an open-ended question. Like, what are those other people doing? Have you
ever seen the old TV show I Love Lucy?
Yes.
There's an episode of I Love Lucy where she works in a factory and she has to assemble things, like I think chocolates.
Chocolates. Okay, I know you can. Yeah, I'm there.
And at first, it's easy. She just like puts the chocolate in the assembly, whatever, it moves on. She's on top of it. It's fine. But then it starts speeding up or whatever. She like kind of stumbles or whatever. And for whatever reason, the number of chocolates that are coming down the assembly line all of a sudden get too much for her to handle. So she like takes care of some of them correctly, but then she like shoves them in her mouth and she shoves some of them in her pocket and she tries to like handle all the chocolates, but they don't stop coming. So she just has to like frantically deal with this, and she misses a lot of the chocolates. So I think what happens is that people will subscribe to a couple channels and then they can handle that. That's fine. But there's no off switch for subscribing to channels. There's no limit to how many channels you can subscribe to. So you subscribe to some more. And then all of a sudden, some of those videos go past you on the assembly line. And then you subscribe to more. And all of a sudden you're having to like, you're overwhelmed with the videos.
Subscribe to before that starts to happen.
I am subscribed to 700 videos and I watch maybe, 700 channels. Actually, that's probably not even true because I haven't checked in a while. I'm probably subscribed to more. But the last time I looked, I was subscribed to 700 channels, and and of those channels, I'd say maybe 300 of them still post. Because the other part of the equation is that
a lot of them don't. Yeah.
If the channel stops posting, then that seems to make it. Then it makes me feel like I have more wherewithal to handle adding more subscriptions to my list. But if some of those old channels start posting again, then I get overwhelmed by that. But even so, with the numerous channels I subscribe to, I will watch maybe 10%, maybe 20% if I'm doing well of all the videos that they push out. For me, it tends to be I give the highest priority to the people that I communicate with outside of YouTube. If I like tweet with you, if we are like friends in real life, or if we've engaged in the comments and we've like talked to each other more, I'm much more likely to watch every one of your videos. I might not comment on every one of your videos because sometimes I just don't know what to say, but I'll watch it and I will definitely give it I give a thumbs up to every video that I watch unless it sucks.
Yeah.
Because unfairly YouTube gives that action substance. It shouldn't. It should make zero difference to the success of a video, but it does. I think that comments should be a much more whatever. I have a lot of problems with YouTube's philosophy on how they. But anyway, so I watch. Did somebody the nodule? Oh, okay. I was confused in the chats because Knowledgeable Reaction said, "Oh yeah, that's a good analogy," and then hyphen Omar, and I thought they were calling me Omar, but their name is Omar. I got confused for a second. Hi, Omar, by the way. Yeah. So I watch, and I know that I am a power user of YouTube. I watch far more of YouTube videos, and I interact with them more than the average user by a significant margin. And even so, I still just can't watch all of them. And I will occasionally go through my list, and I'll see that, okay, I haven't actually watched like the last 10 of this person's video. I'm probably not going to watch this person's videos anymore. I'm going to go ahead and unsubscribe to them. But I'm also loose and fast with subscribing to people, because especially if it's a smaller creator, because I think that support goes a long way in making this a better space in general.
Absolutely.
The YouTube Creator Day that I just went to, a lot of us like put our channels up on these little index cards so that we had like a little, and then there was a picture of us next to the index card. So there was like a little roll call type thing for our class of all of the attendees. And I took photos of all those things, and I'm trying to subscribe to many of those channels now, even though they're not really channels that I would normally subscribe to, because they're local to me, and many of them are smaller channels, so I want to support them. I think there might be an automotive stuff channel that I'm going to subscribe to, a couple of beauty channels I'm going to subscribe to. Not because I have any interest in that kind of content in general, but because my number added to their subscriber count helps them, and I want to help them. Now, a couple weeks down the road, if I realize I have not watched any of their videos because 0 of their titles are interesting to me, then I might unsubscribe. But I've helped them for a short while, and I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I definitely find like I prefer to subscribe. If it's a larger channel, then they really have to be offering me something, like an educational channel. I'll subscribe to if it has a bigger number. But if it's a smaller channel and it's just a person kind of trying to figure out what they want to do, like I am 100% invested more in that than I am in like a big channel of, somebody who's obviously doing well, but they're not giving me anything. They're not really teaching me or changing my life in any way. So
yeah, somebody on Twitter said that or maybe it was in the comments of a YouTube channel, I can't remember where I saw it, but somebody I made the comment I saw, and they said that they don't subscribe to larger subscribed YouTubers because they'll probably see the videos shared on Twitter or some other platform. So they don't need to have the subscription in order to see the video appear and then watch the video. And that's pretty true. Like, just from the fact that I follow Redhead Pat on Twitter, where she's the Ginger Pat, I think. She's really good about sharing the videos that she likes and that she watches. And so if I wanted to, I could unsubscribe from the Vlogbrothers, and I know that I would still see every single one of their videos shared by Pat. And I can just think through it from there, and that's when I would know. I probably could actually do that. I might actually do that. But the smaller YouTubers, it's a lot easier to miss a video from a YouTuber who does not have very many subscribers, because it's not going to be shared as much on social media. Let's see here. There's some stuff on the chat. Oh, Spoo says that at Summer in the City, Spoo was surprised that Dave knew almost no YouTubers. Everyone just kept on passing by, and Spoo was like, "Hey, that's that person. That's that person," and Dave had no idea. That's funny. That is very funny for somebody who is nominally in charge of NFI, a collab channel on YouTube. Ha ha ha. Knowledgeable Reaction, Omar says, I'm subbed to about 150 channels and only skip a few. Yeah, I mean, when I was subscribed to that few channels, I pretty much watched everything, because it was just like, even if I wasn't very interested in it, it was kind of like having like a TV channel on in the background, and then like a show comes up that you don't particularly care about, but you're not bothered to change the channel. It's kind of like that.
Yeah.
But now that I have so many subscriptions, I'm much more picky about what I watch. I mean, there's only so many. Okay, at the YouTube Creator Day, they told me that. Okay, let's see if I got this right. I think that they said 400 days of YouTube video are uploaded every hour. I think that's what they said. 400 days worth of YouTube video are uploaded every hour. I think that's right. I'm not positive, but it was definitely 400 and every hour. So that's a lot. It's a lot. And I also learned that 80% of YouTube views come from outside of the United States. The United States is only watching 20% of YouTube stuff. I did not know that. That is interesting. I'm glad that I closed caption all my videos, except for my live shows. Knowledgeable Reaction asks, do you think YouTube Red could help with these problems? I don't think so. I don't think YouTube Red is going to have any effect on engagement between creators and viewers. It's entirely a money thing. That's all it is.
And I think the only thing that it could change the engagement on is if it's a bigger YouTuber. I think that they have that like special video thing that they can do. But I think you have to be, if I'm not mistaken, I think you have to be a bigger subscriber already to be able to use that. So it's
you mean the exclusive videos that they can?
Yeah, it's like the Patreon exclusive videos, but not Patreon. But I think you have to be already a bigger YouTuber in order to make use of that. So
that's great. There again, you have to literally be invited by YouTube. You can't just do it. You have to be invited by them.
But there again, I mean, to be a bigger YouTuber, you've already lost a little bit of that connection. So maybe? I don't know. It's a good question, though.
Let's see here. Star Pasta joins us. Hi, Star Pasta.
I love your username. I love that. That's fantastic.
Good username.
Mostly because I love pasta and also like stars.
If you love pasta, have you seen Master of None on Netflix?
No. But
it sounds like a weird segue, but there is a connection. If you watch Master of None, you'll find that pasta comes up a lot in that series.
I literally get an hour every day that I get to myself to watch things. So, yeah. There's still a lot of stuff that I'm catching up on watching. That is on my list, though.
Goodness.
That is like way on my list. Like it was recently added, right? So it's like if it was a queue, it'd be like at the very end.
At the end of the queue. So you do a first in, first out of what you have to watch?
Yes. Yeah. Like we're still catching up on what is the one that has been out for a while? Well, there's still a lot of movies that we haven't watched, but we're still catching up on Orphan Black. We just picked up Luther, which is really good. But Longmire is another good one. And Haven.
Ooh, Haven's good.
Catching up on Haven. Yeah. So, yeah, we have a queue, and we have to be very discerning about the things that we invest our time in media-wise, because we have literally, I've calculated it, we have literally an hour every night before we both pass out that we can actually watch something. So, yeah.
Goodness. That is a thing that I do not have to account for in my life.
Yeah. I miss the days when 7 o'clock was the time of night when I was getting ready to start my day, not getting ready to end it.
Wow. Goodness. Yeah. Star Pasta says, I am so bad at unsubscribing to channels because it makes me feel really bad. I stay subscribed and don't want their stuff very often. That is an interesting approach.
I understand that. I do.
The guilt approach to staying subscribed to people. I understand that. I understand that as well. But again, that really affects me most with regards to people with whom I engage. Like, Grace Helbig makes some fun videos. I have laughed at her quite often, but she does not care in any sort of sense whether or not I'm subscribed to her.
Yes.
Doesn't make a difference to her in the slightest. On the other hand, High-Waisted Pantaloons, I hear, has approached around 70 subscribers-ish. I'm probably not going to unsubscribe anytime soon.
Hey, if you want to, I am okay with that.
I mean, if you start making boring videos, maybe. But
fair enough.
So far, I've been watching probably like one out of every 3 or 4 of your videos I get a chance to watch. And then on the other hand, like Zainab just started making videos, and I am happily subscribed to her. I want to encourage her to like really get into this, really like get this in her blood, as it were, this whole YouTubing thing.
Absolutely.
I'm not going to unsubscribe to her until she's got you know, at least 70 subscribers.
Yeah,
at least that many.
At least, and then I am out.
We'll see. We'll see what happens.
No, I think that's a good point, though. I think there is that little bit of like, even if they may not be doing something you necessarily love, you still want to support them in the doing of the thing.
I mean, I've also occasionally tried to help out newbie YouTubers, and I subscribe to the channel, and they make stuff that I'm like actively opposed to, and then I'm out immediately. This is literally not what I signed up for. And I'm out.
Yeah.
But that doesn't happen very often. I'm usually connecting to people that are in the same in a similar mind space to where I am with regards to, like, you know, being socially liberal and stuff like that. Knowledgeable Reaction and Spoo had a couple of conversations back and forth about YouTube Red. I think that the conclusion was the same. It's not really going to make a difference. Tigermon says, but Paul, you are aware of the fact that most countries have a YouTube scene that in that country is as popular, as big as the one in America. I mean, kind of yes, but not literally yes. I know that lots of countries have big YouTube scenes.
Yeah.
But it is reflective in the events that we have, the relative sizes of them.
I understand what you're saying. Germany doesn't necessarily have a, you know, playlist lives, a VidCon, that sort of thing.
Exactly.
So that you're judging from like that perspective, yeah. But Germany is huge.
Yeah, I mean their viewer base is enormous.
Yeah,
absolutely. But I wouldn't say it's as popular and as big as the one in America, because we've got so many flippin' events happening in America that are attended by tens of thousands of people at each one. Different people throughout the year. So 20,000 at VidCon, a different 10,000 at Playlist, the main one, like 5,000 at Playlist DC, and then smaller cons like StreamCon New York. This keeps on happening. There's so many cons in the United States. Anyway, the scenes definitely are big in other places. Germany's big. There's a couple of countries in South America that are big. There are a couple of Asian countries that are huge YouTube viewers. Ireland has a substantial viewer base. But yeah, Tigermon says that Germany does have a German VidCon, and it's huge. Ooh, well then I stand corrected.
There you go.
Let me know about what that is, because I'm curious about what that is. I wonder if my friend Nice One Francie knows about it. Oh, okay, there it is. Spoo says Germany actually has Video Days, which supposedly is the biggest YouTube con in Europe. Interesting. So Germany's the big competitor. Okay. I'm schooled, and that's fine. I will look up statistics on Video Days and find out what that's all about.
So, but nobody has any questions for us? I was all prepared to answer a bunch of questions.
I mean, I've got questions for you, so we're fine. But I'm still looking through the chats here. Madison Bowen has joined in to say that Orphan Black is the best. Orphan Black is pretty excellent. Hi, Madison. Star Pasta says that they do that to Grace Helbig as well.
Yeah.
Oh,
I have one subscription that I will never unsubscribe from. Well, it's technically two, because of nostalgia reasons. I know that Zay Frank is probably never, ever, ever, ever going to make another YouTube video, but I will never unsubscribe from his channel. So I think that's another thing. Like, I just can't. It's like getting rid of that shirt that just was at the most important part of your life, that, you know, it doesn't matter if it doesn't fit anymore, and it doesn't matter if you'll never actually wear it, but to actually get rid of it, I just can't do. So that's another reason to not unsubscribe from a channel, but I'm super nostalgic, so I might be alone in that.
I am not that nostalgic. I throw away old stuff all the time, but I do have, although I do have like a huge memorabilia box that I've kept for years and years. But you know, from the perspective of a viewer on YouTube, subscribing to a channel that doesn't post videos anymore doesn't hurt anything. So
Yeah.
that's fine. You know, we got into this conversation more talking about why are you subscribed to a channel where they
When you're not watching their, yeah.
and you're not watching the stuff that they're producing. So it's a different situation.
It
And you never know about Zay Frank, by the way. Like I thought that Zay had already stopped before this year, but I think he's posted like 2 videos this year.
Nah, to his channel?
Uh-huh.
You haven't seen either of them.
Well, I mean, 2 videos in a year are easy to miss. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that because
were they part of BuzzFeed stuff?
Oh,
if
maybe
they were part of BuzzFeed stuff.
It might have been part of BuzzFeed stuff. I just remember I saw the stereotypical like the thumbnail with the script lettering where he says 10 facts about whatever, and then he like it's his voiceover. It's one of those voiceover videos where he just talks like 10 facts about things that are just funny jokes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's happened a couple times this year. But we can go. I mean, we can just go to the channel and check.
Yeah.
We can just look at the channel and see if I'm right or wrong. Maybe I'm remembering last year, but I've definitely seen new videos come out from Zay Frank in the time that I've been subscribed, and I've only been on YouTube for 2.5 years, and most of my stuff has been happening this year. So it either happened at the end of last year or this year that there's been some new Zay Frank stuff, and it surprised me because I thought that I was subscribed to a dead channel. Apparently, I wasn't. You can't predict Zay Frank. He's unpredictable.
And that's what I love about him.
Knowledgeable reaction. Omar asks, "How are the kids?"
They're sleeping right now, so all is well. No, I never ever want to give the impression that I don't absolutely love my kids, but I will not say that they don't drive me insane sometimes.
That's honest.
Because they do. But I still love them despite all of that. But no, I love my kids. They're awesome. Kids are so cool, and I don't want this to come out the wrong way, but I really feel sorry for people that either can't or don't appreciate how awesome children are, because they're little minds and they're independent little things, and they have their own ways of being, and it is so neat. And yes, there is a lot that they have to learn about life, and there's a lot that you have to teach them. But if you just like let them be, like my kids are really weird, right? In a good way, because I allow them to be themselves. And
they're weird because they're your kids.
You're not wrong, sir. But I allow them to be themselves because that's what it is. That's why we're parents, is to keep them from being, crazy nuts in a bad way, but to also like let them be their own little individual brains and have their own ways of thinking about things. And there are so many things that my 5-year-old daughter has taught me, because I'm not closed from the possibility of that being a thing that can happen. Now, I won't say necessarily. I mean, my son has taught me things. He's 2, but he's taught me things, but in a much less verbal and a much less apparent way. But kids are awesome, and they can be obnoxious. I'm not going to say that they can't, but if you really take the time to like get down on their level and like speak to them one-on-one, like you can really learn some awesome things. And you see the world in a different way. You see the world in a much different way. And so, yeah, that's the thing for me. That's why I love being a parent.
That's cool. I mean, like the closest analogy I could say is, my dog teaches me to. No, I can't even go down that road. It doesn't compare. It doesn't compare.
Don't. And that people that compare their dogs to having kids drive me nuts. And I will just go on record saying this, because there are so many dissimilarities between dogs and human beings that I understand what they're trying to say, and I understand what they're trying to get to in saying, my dogs are my kids, but no, they're not. Human beings are kids, not dogs. Yes, I understand a lot of the care is the same, but eventually...
No, it's not.
My little human beings are eventually going to be big human beings that are in the world. Your dog is never going to learn how to talk. So it's, yeah, that's one of those things that frustrates me. But in like the most simple way, like I'm not gonna go, crazy mad if you feel like your dogs are your kids, but they're not.
I don't disagree with you. I was just making a joke.
I know you were trying to relate. I understand.
No, I actually was not trying to relate because I can't relate. Okay. I was literally just making the joke. But there's something going on in the comments that I don't really understand. Tiger Mond says that in 2014, VidCon had 18,000 attendees, and Video Days in Germany had 14,000. VidCon actually had 20,000 subscribers, 20,000 attendees, according to Hank Green. But that's fine. Germany had a big number. That's great. And then Spoo says that 15,000 according to Wikipedia. Okay, cool. Then here's the thing that I don't understand. Tiger Mond says America has 300,000 citizens. That is off by a very large order of magnitude. We have millions of people in individual cities. I'm not sure what you're saying there about 300,000 citizens. And Germany has 80,000 citizens. That also seems low. I think you're talking about. Are you talking about YouTube viewers or something? I'm not sure what you're talking about there. But yeah, I already conceded. Germany's Video Days is big and impressive. Well done. Nice. Nicely done. I am corrected. But I just don't understand that 300,000 citizens and 80,000 citizens number. Those don't seem to match up. I'm pretty sure we both have millions of people. Right?
I don't know.
You're bad at math. Never mind.
I don't know.
Let's see here. I had a question for you.
Okay.
In your bio, okay. Tiger Mond meant millions. America has 300 million citizens. Germany has 80 million citizens. That makes much more sense. Okay. That makes more sense. Thank you, Tiger Mond. I was so confused. In your YouTube bio, you describe yourself as nerd fighter, mom, and lover of life. Do you still actively identify as a nerd fighter?
Oh yeah, 100%, 100%. Yeah. It's interesting because being a nerd fighter was actually, and I don't mean to slight anything here, but it was a coming out process for me. Like, it actually took me a long time to verbally identify as a nerd fighter, but now, oh yeah, 100%. And it's funny because I feel like I always was a nerd fighter. I just didn't know it. So yeah, still very much involved in that community and still very much identify as a nerd fighter because I'm made of awesome, right?
Good. That's cool. I'm gonna come back to this in a second, but okay. I want to point out that in the chats we are joined by Matt Palka, everybody Palka.
Hi, Matt. Yay!
And then Thomas Kite is in the chats with us, and then Zainab, who I already shouted out earlier as Zainab, one of the newest YouTubers that I know. Hi, Zainab. Thanks for joining us, all three of you.
Awesome.
Yay. Star Pasta asks if you, Liz, are on the Adult Nerd Fighters Facebook page.
I was, and how do I say this? I am an adult, but I'm not that kind of adult. There I was, and it was very uncensored, we'll say. And I have to be very censored in my life. Not that I don't do those things, but being an adult with kids is not the same in any way, shape, or form as being an adult. I think there's huge not disparity, but there's a huge difference there between being an adult who has a disposable income and can go out and live their lives. And I found that that's a lot of what the adult nerd fighter group was people that were just older nerd fighters, not like parents or people who have to spend their Friday nights going to bed at 9:30 because, oh man, what a week I've had. So I was, right now I'm in the Philly nerd fighter, but I haven't seen too much posting there. But I find most of what I enjoy about the Nerdfighter community is in the comments of the Vlogbrothers video more than it is any external group at this point.
Interesting.
So.
Have you ever participated in any of the Nerdfighter forum spaces, like in your pants and stuff like that?
No. Is that even a thing that I could do now?
I don't know. I think it was before my time.
Yeah. So I don't know. I would. I've taken quizzes. I don't know if that counts. But I think for me, I don't really feel like I have to, like I live my life as a nerd fighter. I don't have to necessarily like, hey, guess what? I'm a nerd fighter because I've done X, Y, and Z, you know? Like
Well, actually, as you're saying that, Thomas Kite in the chat asked, what is a nerd fighter?
Oh.
So you answer.
I mean, there's like the standard definition, and then there's the definition that I choose to believe in. And I think the standard definition is a person.
Actually, as you're explaining, I'm going to run to the bathroom. So you just keep on explaining and take a long time.
Okay. A nerd fighter is a person who, instead of being made of cells and DNA, is made entirely of awesome. But I think a nerd fighter is just basically the definition that I choose to use it for is just a person who tries to do good and tries to put out more good in the world than to create more bad. So a generally polite, generally thoughtful, generally empathetic person, and a person who just wants to see the world be a better place. And that's the definition, and I'm done talking now, but since Paul's not back, and I don't have any way of accessing everybody, I don't have access to the chat, this is going to just be a really awkward thing where I just have words coming out of my mouth, and this is going to be fun and interesting, and thank you all for watching. I will definitely say that. So Matt and Neve and everybody else that has recently joined in, thank you for coming. Thank you for being here. Paul, how much longer are you going to be in the bathroom? Because I'm done doing my thing, and now he's back. I managed. Thumbs up. Okay.
Did you explain what a nerd fighter was?
And then some.
Oh, good. Excellent. Matt also said in the chat that Zainab and he just came back from blabbing on Blab.
Blab. The next new thing.
I haven't explored it at all.
No, I'm done, man. I stopped at Snapchat. I'm sorry.
Let's see here. My friend Magic Eye Jenny is still into Beam, that the Snapchat-ish thing that Casey Neistat invented.
Okay, I don't. Yeah.
I'm not even gonna go into it, really.
I'm new to Twitter, okay? I am new to Twitter.
I'm often an early adopter, but it has to be something where I can see it being something that goes on for a long time. I could see early on that Twitter was gonna be around for a while and it was gonna be an amazing way to engage with people. So I joined Twitter early on, and YouTube obviously has got it's YouTube. It's fantastic. Yeah. But also all of these new things that come up, I'll wait for a while and see how they last before I join in. Let's see here. So knowledgeable reaction clapped at your definition. Star Pasta said it was a good definition.
Thank you all.
Let's see here. There's a lot of stuff I missed in the chat. My goodness.
Yeah, we were gone for a while.
It wasn't that long. Let's see. Tiger Mon says, my name is Paola.
Okay, cool. I wasn't gonna say anything unless it was cool with you because I know you're, so good. Yeah.
Likewise, I don't like to out people in any way on my live shows.
Paola is entirely made of awesome. She's probably one of the coolest people that I've met through this whole thing. Not that everybody else isn't also, but yeah.
Very cool.
She's my scarecrow.
Your scarecrow, and you're on your adventure to Oz?
Yes.
Excellent. Yes. Matt Palka says, in my book, it is a person that is open to increasing No, this is an important mistake that I would edit out of my video. Matt Hawkins says, in my book, it's a person that is open to decreasing world suck in every possible way.
Yes, yeah, and that's part of it. But I personally know that decreasing is much more out of my control than increasing. So taking bad out is, I have less control over that than I have just trying to add to the good. So that's why my personal definition doesn't so much include that, because the bad's going to be there.
Well, I mean, I like the way that Matt worded it, because he said that it's a person who's open to decreasing world suck.
Oh, yeah.
So not necessarily actively doing it, because sometimes it's hard and sometimes things are just out of our control. But being open to it, I mean, that a lot of times that literally just means like listening and like reconsidering things. Like that's a thing that you can do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that as well. We're also joined in the chat by Scozio. Hi, Scozio. I think you joined in when I was running to the bathroom. Oops. I drank a lot of water. It's all gone now. Let's see here. Zainab says that Blab is excellent for sharing ideas. This is great. The chat is getting crowded. Yeah. 8 viewers at the same time.
Yay! And no questions. Ask me questions. Ask me anything. Ask me literally anything. Go ahead. Do it. Ask me any question, and I will either answer it or I won't.
Matt Palco says that Blab is like an online live stream version of Skype connected to Twitter. That is not a thing that I can picture very well, Matt.
No.
We are also joined by Asante. Hi, Asante.
Oh, hi,
Asante. Yay. Knowledgeable Reaction apparently is a big Asante fan. Don't blame you. I don't blame you. Asante the artist is awesome. Let's see here. What else is going on here? Okay. All right. I think I finally caught up. Yeah, I've caught up with the chat. Spoo says that the Oz Scarecrow is better than the Batman Scarecrow. Correct.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
Correct.
I didn't even think about that. No, yeah, that's a terrible... No, she's definitely my Oz Scarecrow.
Matt Palka says, Paul, Asante is here. Get hype, get hype, get hype, get hype. I am. Okay, Scozio has a question. I think that Scozio just is because they just recently come in. They missed our earlier discussion, but asks, have you done anything for the art assignment? So I'm going to change your question a little bit because both of us have. And I think we already mentioned that in the chat. But what specifically have you done for the art assignment? How about that?
A lot of them.
How about like 3 things that you really enjoyed doing for the art assignment?
Okay, I can do that. One of my favorite art assignments was Become Someone Else, which is basically you have to change one facet of your person and basically make it something that you would not do, you would not be. So an easy thing is like a lot of people I know did like put lipstick on if they didn't wear makeup or went without their makeup, or like, you know, drew a mustache on their face, something that is not part of who you would normally be out in the world. And what I did for mine was I wore graphic tees because as a mom, I had this preconceived idea of what a mom is, and a mom does not wear graphic tees, but I love wearing graphic tees. Like a lot of my favorite shirts are things that say things. So what I did is I wore actually the We Are All Bat People t-shirt from the Batman controversy. And I went out.
That's the Hank and John Vlogbrothers Batman controversy.
Yeah, they had a huge dispute over whether or not Batman is a good person, and I definitely am with Hank on that, and I always will be Team Hank in that way. But I wore my We Are All Bat People out into the world with my kids and learned that literally nobody cares. So go about your life. Go about your life, because people don't actually care what you're wearing. So that was a huge one that I loved. That was
That's
one of
cool.
the biggest ones for me.
So you became someone who wears graphic tees and discovered that you could already be one anyway.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. So it was become someone that I'm like, I've changed. It's like, it's someone I was, but it's someone I felt like I couldn't be anymore. But another one that I really liked that took like way longer than it should have, Paula. No, it wasn't her fault, but she knows what I'm talking about, was the encounters, which was supposed to be, you find the art assignment was the person doing the art assignment had no real involvement except coordinating an encounter between two different people that they know that don't know each other. So I did this, and it took forever because it turns out that trying to coordinate something with two people that you only know from the internet is like damn near impossible to do. So after finally finding somebody that I know in MeetSpace and working with Paula, we made the thing happen. And it was really interesting and fascinating. And that, I think, was another one that, even though it took way longer than it should have, it was a great experience for me, especially because I don't think I'm very willing to put my foot down on certain things. Like, I am with my kids. I think that's different. But, like, with other people, like, I'm, like, more like, this is a thing, guys. And, make sure that we do it because it should really get, like, I'm not very forceful when it's a situation that I maybe don't want to upset people. So I think that was what I learned from that assignment. And then, oh, gosh, I've done so many recently.
I mean, those two were good. If you want to stop there, that's fine.
Well, I mean, the other one that I could think of is I did the, what was it with my, that was the one with the rubbing, and somebody's going to say what it was, but you were supposed to do a rubbing, and I did a rubbing of my grandparents' tombstones.
Oh.
Because, they've actually been gone from my life for over 20 years now. And it was an experience for me because I actually went to their grave sites by myself for the first time ever. So it was actually, part of it was finding where they were buried, like specifically in the cemetery where they were buried, like finding them, and then also doing that as part of the thing. And that was another really good one. But that's what I love so much about the art assignment, is it gets you out there doing stuff that you wouldn't normally do, and it's the experience. The experience is what it is. So it doesn't matter how good the end result is, the experience is what is fantastic.
It's true. It's really true. People haven't asked me for vlog ideas in a long time, but back when I would give people suggestions for what they could do for a vlog when they're stuck, is the entire art assignment channel.
Yeah.
That is a place that you can go to. So many ideas. Before I give my answer about what I did, I'm going to mention that in the chat, they're having an entire discussion about the lyrics of the song, about Batman is just a rich guy with an affinity for bats. They're like going back and forth and spotting all the lines. No, crime is not just actually caused by evil. Playing out as an insane fantasy. It's just ridiculous is what's happening here. Ridiculous.
I love it.
I'm so proud of all of you. It's amazing.
And I love that will never actually die among the community. Like, that is something, like, people have truly picked sides on, and that's it. Like, I know me and my friend Paula, we completely see the opposite side on that. We're still friends, but no.
I should hope so.
Don't agree.
You're just interpreting a fictional character's validity, basically. The validity of that person, of that fictional character. Oh my goodness! I wonder if it would make a difference if it were a real person who was going around trying to tackle crimes in a bat suit. I wonder if people would get as worked up about that real person.
You mean like how Bill Gates is actually Batman?
He's not. He doesn't have a suit.
Do you know that? Can you prove it?
I don't have to prove the absence of something when something is unlikely. The person has to prove the existence of that thing.
I know.
On the other hand, Elon Musk I'm pretty sure that he actually is building an Iron Man suit. He's literally Iron Man. He's gonna say, oh, by the way, here's the new Tesla and also my Iron Man suit. One of these days, we'll all see it. So my answer about my art assignment was that I did the meet in the middle art assignment. And I did that with one of my friends, and it was funny because we tried to connect several times, and every time we thought we had a date to meet in the middle, like an actual day of the calendar, a month, something would come up. It was usually on their side, but whatever, that's fine. And they had to cancel, and then they would they had school stuff to do, or they had family stuff to do, or whatever. And finally, after forever, we ended up just driving and meeting at this little a wilderness preserve / museum space in Maryland. That was pretty much right between where the two of us were starting, and it was neat. We had had a little picnic of it and whatnot, and it was strange because I know this person, Caitlin, because she was a dancer whom I would dance with on a somewhat regular basis. And then we tried to do the meet in the middle art assignment, and all of a sudden we stopped seeing each other because we couldn't get our schedules to work out, ever. I didn't even see our dances anymore. So it was weird. Anyway, it was fun, and that was the art assignment that I did, meet in the middle.
I actually have that planned for next weekend with, actually I'm going to meet 2 people. We're going to triangulate our locations, but 2 people that I am on the We Create EDU channel with. So I'm going to do my meet in the middle next weekend. So I'm excited about that.
Oh, speaking of your We Create EDU, is Peter Musser a part of that?
He was originally, but I honestly have no idea what Peter Musser is doing right now with his life. I wish him all of the luck. I know that he just applied to
grad school?
Yeah, grad school. Thank you. He just applied to grad school, but I haven't really been in touch with him lately. So if he watches this, he should, say something.
The last time I was in touch with Peter was it for an art assignment? It might have been was there an art assignment where you're supposed to try to connect to a person through another person?
That was Derek.
That was Derek, yes.
Yeah,
yes.
Derek Moeller did that on Veritasium.
That was the Veritasium. So when he did that Veritasium video, that project about connecting to him through another person, I contacted Peter to see if he could. Yeah,
that's a good place to go.
It is, because Peter knows everybody.
To go.
He is so connected.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, you, Peter, Hank, I'm sure Hank has interviewed Derek, so that's you, Peter, Hank. That would be 4. That's not bad.
With regards to degrees of separation, because I know Peter Musser, I'm 1 to 2 degrees of separation from basically everybody on YouTube. I might not know them very well. They might not know Peter very well, but that's pretty accurate.
Yeah.
That dude is darn well connected. And I wish him luck as well. I hope that he's not too stressed out, bogged down, over busy with his life, because he takes on a lot of stuff. Sometimes I worry that he burns himself out. Sometimes I worry about him. Hopefully I will connect with him again before next VidCon, because we usually connect at least a little bit at VidCon. We've done it both years so far, so it's good times. My goodness, so much stuff is happening in the chats. So much stuff.
Do any of them end with a question mark?
Tigermon says, aren't we all fictional characters for everyone despite ourselves? Yes, that is accurate.
This is why I love her.
Nobody knows us but ourselves. Everybody else's idea of us is just a character that they are making up from the information that they can spot. Yeah, good question. But actually, we are cutting to where I would normally consider the end of my live show, the 2-hour mark.
Okay.
Can you believe it's been 2 hours?
No, it's been
flies by. It's so fun. And the people in our chats are just great. There's so many good chats happening over here, despite the lack of questions. Still good chats. And before we did wrap up, I wanted to say that I hope that people who are watching or later on in the podcast version listening to my guest host Liz / High-Waisted Pantaloons, I hope that you go to her YouTube channel, which is linked in the doobly-doo of this video and will still be there even after this show is over. It'll be on my channel. Go to the description, find her channel, go and subscribe to her to hear her talk about all the stuff. She's so smart and interesting.
Oh, thank you.
Definitely do that. Also, you know, I wanted to go through with this live show. So did Liz, but I wanted to go through the live show because I was hoping that we could give people who are having a sad time because of all the horrible things in the world, like the Paris attacks, a chance to take their mind off of it and think about something else for a little while. And I hope that we have managed to do that for you. But of course, if you are still concerned about the Paris attacks victims and would like to do something to help, I've included links in the description as well to several places where you can either directly donate, or there are some articles where they talk about different ways to help out Paris attacks victims. So go ahead and check that out. Before we wrap up, I haven't forgotten Tigermon's question. When was the last time you, or the question that was asked in the chats that Tigermon's reminding me of, when was the last time you climbed on a tree? How about you, Liz? When was the last time you climbed on a tree? Or Spoo's variation, when was the last time you fell out of a tree?
I've never fallen out of a tree before.
Me neither.
But God, that's a great question. I'm not very good at that. I didn't spend a lot of my childhood climbing trees. I had one tree in my backyard that I could climb. It was a mimosa tree, and it had very low limbs. I am also a very low-limbed person, so climbing trees is not very easy for me to do.
Your limbs look like they're on the right place, Liz. I'm not sure what you're talking about.
They're very low to the ground. There's not much distance between me and the ground. I'm short, is what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to come about that in a very creative way. But yeah, it's been a while. My daughter loves climbing things. We don't have too many climbable trees here, though. They're all extremely tall. So yeah, I will climb a tree this week, and I will put it on my vlog channel.
I was going to say, you better vlog that. That sounds great.
Yeah, I will do my best to find a tree that I can actually climb. There, okay.
Awesome. I climbed a little bit of a tree actually very recently. Like I think it was like 2 or 3 days before the end of October. I wanted to get like a spooky shot of a knothole in a tree as part of my 1 second everyday video. And so I climbed a couple of trees looking for knotholes that I could take video of. Like, it was ridiculous. Like there was no point besides that. Just literally videoing a spooky knothole in a tree for my 1 second everyday video. And then I ended up finding one that was like right near the ground, so I didn't even have to climb the tree at all. As I was walking my dog, I just came across it, and that was the one that I included in my 1 second everyday video. I included a little knothole video, but I climbed a couple of trees looking for it the day before that, and I didn't find any. So my answer is near the end of October.
Yeah, good for you. It's probably been since I was a kid.
Something else that's kind of cool is that not very far from me, and I've never been there, but not very far from me, is a place called the Sandy Spring Adventure Center or something like that. And it's literally a place that is a bunch of really, really high bridges and rope things that are strung between hugely high trees. I want to say it's about half an hour drive north of me. It's like an adventure land that you can pay a small amount to go into, and then they'll help you go up to the trees, and you can walk between the trees on these bridges and rope things. It looks amazing from the photos.
Do they have like a zip line?
There is a zip line there that you don't have to take. Like they try to make sure that it's kid friendly, so that even if you're just a kid, you can just walk across the bridges instead of doing anything too dangerous. But there's like rope things that you can climb across hand over hand. There's zip lines. It looks really interesting, and it's up in the trees, and I think I might go there at some point, but I haven't been yet.
Cool.
I just wanted to say that because I think it's a neat thing. Oh my goodness. So I told people about your channel. I told people about the links to help out the Paris attacks victims in the description. Is there anything else that we should talk about before we sign off on this really fun, lovely live show?
My words of wisdom have failed me. I don't know. I'm into answering questions, honestly.
Did you have fun during this?
Oh my gosh, so much fun, and I'm so glad that so many people showed up, and you're all lovely. Thank you for coming.
They're great. Yeah. They're great. Yeah, I'm glad that we got like a mix of your subscribers and connections and some of mine as well. It was nice. Very cool. Spoo says, I don't even remember how often I fell out of a tree. I only remember the 2 times it left me scarred or led to physical therapy.
Oh my
Spoo,
gosh.
maybe you should stay out of trees.
Yeah.
Maybe you should stop.
Maybe that was an ant telling you to stay out.
An ant. Yes, it was an ant shaking you off. All right. Well, then I'm just going to recap that next weekend, on November 22nd, is when I'm planning on doing my next Let's Talk About You video. And those are the videos where I invite people to come into the comments and do the meet and greet thing so that I can meet more of my subscribers. That's the thing that we talked about during this live show. So that's a nice little thing there. And then on November 29th is my next scheduled live show, which I'll be doing with Dave Says Words from NFI channel. We'll be doing that, and that should be fun as well. So I hope people come back for that.
Yeah.
Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. This has been so great, and I was worried that it was going to be not that great, but it turned out nicely, and I'm very happy about it.
Yeah.
Do you have a regular sign-off from your videos?
I do, actually. The one thing I do want to say is that it is my goal in life to be the internet's mom. If I can't mother all of the children, I will gladly be a mom to anybody that needs that support in their life, and a cheerleader to everybody who's doing the thing, whatever that is, because that's awesome. But yeah, I mean, if we're going to end it here, I will definitely gladly say that we will see what happens next week. All right.
Excellent. And then my sign off is that here at the end of the video, tomorrow will be even better. And I think that on a day like this, that's something that needs to be said.
Absolutely.
Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Bye.
Okay. Bye.